HIV saved my life. And I say it saved my life because it stopped me in my tracks and it made me really take a deep look into my life and my choices that I was making. And it made me really pay attention to the things around me. It definitely gave me a purpose and a why. And I knew that once I took my power back and I came out with my diagnosis, I was going to be even more powerful in what I was doing.
Welcome back to another episode of Empower716. I'm your host, Rob Lowry, and this is a podcast dedicated to business owners, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, career shifters, those who are committed to growing their life and business in the Western New York area. And so as you all know, that we have added a new component into our podcast, and that is bringing community organizations to our platform to really educate business owners and entrepreneurs. So that way you can have an opportunity to learn, educate yourself on various organizations that are making a big difference in the Western New York community. And so see how you or your business can get involved. And so today we're going to recognize another organization, Women to Women, We Are One. And the founder is Dawn Trotter. She is out in the community, boots on the ground, and she is going to talk about her amazing journey and what she does in the community in Western New York. And if you are interested, you'll have an opportunity to find out ways that you can help her in her efforts as well. So welcome to the show.
Hi, my name is Dawn Trotter, and my organization is Woman to Woman, We Are One. And thank you for watching Empower716. I feel great today. It's another day that God has graced me to be here on this earth to do some good things. Yeah. So today I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling optimistic.
Okay, awesome.
Back in 2007, I was diagnosed with HIV. And I was diagnosed during a time in my life that I was trying to get myself together, I guess you can say. Yeah. I was in the process of stopping using drugs. I was trying to, do what quote unquote the people say the right thing is, settle down with one partner, do all of the right things. And I was in a relationship with a gentleman that I had been in a relationship for about 10 months when I got my diagnosis. And, I have to tell a little bit of the backstory. Yeah. For the first 6 months of my relationship, I was very adamant about using protection with him. But, when you're in a relationship with somebody, you get to trust them. You feel like you love them, all of those things that happen. And he was very adamant about not wanting to use protection. And so eventually I made a conscious decision. And I always want to make that key point that I made a conscious decision to stop using protection with him. And I always got tested every year for HIV, and I had just got tested before we started our relationship. And so when I was stopped that particular day, asked, did I want to get a HIV test? I was like, no, because I'm good. I just got tested almost a year ago, and I'm in a relationship, and we good. Right. And I happened to know the person, and so we went, and I did end up getting tested, and unfortunately, the test came back positive. And, back then, I was very uneducated. I didn't know how I, as a straight woman, had contracted HIV. I was not a gay man, and I was not an IV drug user, never had been. So I was really confused at how this happened. And then I was confused because I was like, I've been with the same person for almost a year. Right. I trust him. He, all of the things that people think, right? Yeah. And so, I got a very good crash course on, what HIV is and what it isn't. And that, unfortunately, this particular person knew that they were positive. They made a comment to me when I finally was able to speak to them that someone had did it to them so we could just be together. Wow. And thank God for Jesus that he saved me, because I think some of the words I made up. Yeah. But God did, keep me. The first 2 years of my diagnosis were very rough. I thought I was going to die because at the end of the day, I didn't know what HIV was, right? I didn't understand. But I knew that the day that I got diagnosed, the one thing I remember from that day specifically is the doctor telling me, no matter what you do, just take this medication and you're going to live. Wow. And so I did. I took that medication every day, and today and every day since today, I have been undetectable, meaning that I cannot transmit the HIV virus sexually to anyone. So, and again, God has given me so much grace. He has put people around me to encourage me and uplift me. And, because it wasn't so easy in the beginning of my diagnosis, I know that other people have had this and they have not had the people around them.
Yeah.
And so it encouraged me to, because I'm a people person, I love to talk to people. I love to be around people. I knew that I could talk to people, and I knew that I was very good at encouraging others.
Okay.
And so when the opportunity came for me to volunteer in the clinic where I was getting my services, I was like, absolutely. And that's how I got started helping women who were also living with HIV, supporting them, linking them to services and things like that. And that was the start of my journey.
Dealing with this diagnosis, there was a sense of probably some isolation, depression involved, and things of that nature. How do you go from internalizing what you're going through, processing that, all the emotions, and then having the courage? Because again, it's a lot of shaming involved with it. And I don't want to share this with anybody.
Mentally, I was beat down, because my life before all of that had been so rough. Like, I grew up in the system from the age of 7 to 18. I aged out, during my younger years, things happened to me that shouldn't happen to a child. And for those years, no one was there, but the things that I saw kind of built the way that I dealt with things. And it was either, unfortunately, through sex or through drugs. And so, those first couple of years, I didn't know how to deal with it. I did isolate. I became depressed. I didn't want to touch my kids for the first 6 months because I didn't know, I don't want to do this to them.
Right.
I wrote up a will to sign them away to my family. I was like, let's get it started, get it out the way so they don't have to deal with this. But I don't know. One day, I just decided I wanted to live. And then also, too, a year into the diagnosis, I'm like, wait, I'm still here, right? Even though the doctors were telling me I was going to live, all I remember is people die when they contract HIV. And so, just my kids, I want to say, was one of the main reasons that I was able to push through that muddled time in my life. But then, like I said, I realized I wanted to live. And so then also there was someone who saw something in me inside the clinic who put an opportunity in front of me to go away to this conference with 30 other people, not this campaign, but 30 other people that were positive. And so when I realized there was a room full of people over 400 years of HIV with all the diagnoses that were still living since the 80s, I knew I had a chance.
Wow.
HIV saved my life. And I say it saved my life because it stopped me in my tracks and it made me really take a deep look into my life and my choices that I was making. And it made me really pay attention to the things around me. And not that the journey was easy. Like I said, I fumbled along the way.
Right.
Me being out with my diagnosis took some time, but it definitely gave me a purpose and a why. And I knew that once I took my power back and I came out with my diagnosis, I was going to be even more powerful in what I was doing because I knew that I could do this. This is truthfully what God made me for, right? Like, once I understood the purpose of those two things together, that everything happens that's supposed to happen. And I truly believe that God only gives his strongest people the hardest things to handle because he knows we can. And so the first time, like I said, when I was volunteering in the first clinic that I was with, I was making phone calls to the ladies and reminding them about their pap smear appointments. And I realized that a lot of the women weren't showing up. And so me and the director of the clinic was having this conversation. And I had an idea like, hey, people like free stuff. You think it's possible that we can buy a bunch of underwear?
Yeah.
And when the women are being called, I can say, hey, I have a gift for you. And that'll open the door for me to have a conversation with them. And so I started a program called Panties Off for Pap Smears. And it opened the door, like I said, for me to be able to ask the ladies, like, what barriers are you having? What's stopping you from coming to your appointments? How can I help you? Wow. What services can I link you with? And so when I went on my next step, when I started working physically in the field at an agency, I realized that there was women, whether positive or not, who needed support, they needed community, and they needed a time to kind of just unplug. And so I decided that I wanted to have an event. And I decided I wanted to have an event that just made the women smile. And so I sat down with a friend of mine and we discussed, like, what can we do that's different, that's free, that women can come get education, they can get linked to services, and at the same time have a good time. And so that's how Woman to Woman got created. My first event was held at Evergreen Health, and I had free raffles where I gave away purses and self-care packages. Yeah. They got free back massages. We had a drag show. They got free soul food. And then when I started that, I started doing outreach. And I realized, there are a lot of women that I talk to who, for whatever reason, whatever they're doing in their life, they may not have access to clean underwear or sanitary products. And I started buying underwear, packs of underwear, and packing them up and sanitary products and just giving them away. Just giving them away to people that may possibly need them. And so that's how Woman to Woman was born, me having that event. And then, starting to do physical outreach where once a month I go into the community with 2 other organizations and I service the community with free underwear, personal care items, sanitary products, socks. Because again, we sometimes, me and you talked about this, we don't even pay attention to the things that we might take for granted, right? And, there are women, whether because they're low income, whether they're still actively using drugs, whatever it is, they don't have money to buy new underwear every month. They don't have money all the time to buy their personal care items. And this is what every woman should have. I don't care what you're doing. And so I feel like if God gave it to me, then it's my point to give it to them. If I have it, because he's going to continue to make a way for me to do it. And so that's how Woman to Woman came about. The biggest thing I think that I get from it, and God reminds me of all the time, is that you are building a community. You are building a community of women that are positive and not positive, because the women don't know in the room who's HIV positive or not. Right. So I'm building a community of women that out of those 3-4 hours we come together, they feel like they are in a room full of sisters and they're not thinking about their job. They're listening to the person that's standing in front of them, because also at my events, I'll have women come and speak about different things, whether they have survived domestic violence, cancer, living with HIV, maybe they have mental health, and they'll talk from their lived experience to let someone in the room know that this can be you, or you can make it, right? You can be all right. There's maybe some steps that you got to take. And then also, I'm here if you need me. People don't realize we have so many services in Buffalo that people don't know about. Yep. And so I try to find those services and say, hey, would you come table at this event and give this information to the women? Because a lot of times women need these services, but they have no idea that they're there. I have a Facebook page. It's called Woman to Woman, We Are One. You can go on the Facebook page and you'll know when any events are coming up. I actually have an event coming up in August 23rd at the Martha Mitchell Center. It's called my Family Affair event. And This is the event that I do for the families, because I realized sometimes the women weren't able to come to the event because it's a no-kid event, because they didn't have babysitters. And I said, you know what? Let me create an event where them and their children can come. I love it. And so it's almost the same thing. That service vendors are there. We do free food. I do free raffles for the kids and the moms, bounce houses, face painting, balloon stuff. We have a DJ, and we just have a good time. But that's August 23rd at the Martha Mitchell Center, which is inside of the Langfield Projects. Yes. And then if someone wanted to donate, because a lot of these services and events, like I told you, come out of my pocket, and I'm not complaining, right? I'm not complaining at all. But if someone wanted to donate, they could donate to my Cash App, Woman to Woman, We Are One at Cash App. The Facebook page. And if you wanted to reach out to me via email, my email is womantowoman@outlook.com.
Well, Dawn, I really appreciate you in so many ways, because I know that there could be individuals dealing with, I would just say, anything in life, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's HIV, whether it's sort of, abuse and things of that nature. You internalize it, the isolation, and then, as we kind of talked about, and then be able to go from dealing with it, processing it, and then letting your light shine. I think it's just when I see people walk in their light, you just get encouraged. And I want to say that I appreciate what you're doing out in the community, because there needs to be more people to feel comfortable, to be able to share their story, their journey. And I can only imagine what you do at your events and how much that means to someone. And sometimes we don't get to see our work and our effort, but those small little things of you are committed to giving other people experience, to give people the community that you benefited off of and how important it was to you. And so sometimes people can get something, obtain something in life, and they use the word gatekeep, keep the information, the resources to myself. But the fact that you're demonstrating that, look how I've overcome, look how I want to share and give back to other people. And I think it just kind of continues. And so I just want to say thank you for your effort and the individuals that you're helping in our community and gathering, because the other part of this, and I'll add, is the resources that you mentioned. There's so much information out there.
Yes.
For some, like, we take for granted that I can go to Google or I can do this, but for some people don't have internet access. Some people don't have time, and I mean that in a good way, because some people are working multiple jobs, and you're just
children
in the midst of things. You're just trying to get by. You're trying to live day to day, and so for me to figure out what resources, and so sometimes navigating through the resources can be very challenging, and so to bring those resources to your events and give people the opportunity to connect to those things, that means a lot. And so I just want to commend you on the things that you're doing in the community. So thank you, audience, for listening. I want to make sure you connect with this organization, and there's things that you want to help out on August 23rd at the Martha Mitchell Center. Please reach out to her. I thank you, and actually go out and support too. Sometimes extra hands, if you can't give monetary, just extra hands.
You want a table,
yeah.
As long as you're not selling anything, you are more than welcome if you have information that will help the community.
Okay. Well, that's locks into another episode of Empower716.